Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Wednesday, July 14th, 2021. Today I'm going to recap Major League Baseball's All-Star Game, look ahead to the NBA Finals Game 4, WNBA All-Star Game. We will talk some golf as we will make a pick for the next tournament. I'll predict every team's coaches in the NBA 3 years from now. The latest NHL mock draft. I'll predict who every team will keep protected in the expansion draft. Latest news and notes, and my best bet of the day. All right, we're going to start at the MLB All-Star Game. It was a fun game last night. The American League came out on top 5-2 over the National League. The American League has won literally every All-Star game since 2013, which sounds ludicrous if you think of it, but it's a true fact. Getting the win was Shohei Ohtani. The loss was Corbin Burns, and the save was Liam Hendricks. Top of the second, infield single by Marcus Semien, 1-0 AL. Top of the third, home run Vlad Guerrero Jr., 2-0 AL. Top of the fifth, RBI ground out Vlad Guerrero Jr., 3-0 AL. Then an RBI single by Xander Bogaerts, 4-0 AL. Then bottom of the fifth, home run JT Realmuto makes it 4-1. Top of the sixth, home run Mike Zunino, 5-1 AL. And then bottom of the sixth, Manny Machado scores on a pass ball by Mike Zunino. And it was a 5-2 game, and the AL held on to win the game. Ohtani had 2 at-bats and pitched an inning. So Ohtani obviously started. Then it was Lance Lynn, Kyle Gibson, Nate Eovaldi, Gregory Soto, Chris Bassett, Andrew Kitteridge, Matt Barnsley, and Hendricks. So it's different that Soto went before Bassett because Soto's a closer, Bassett's a starter. So that's interesting. And then the NL pitchers order is Scherzer, Burns went 2, Marquez 1, Trevor Rogers 1, Taijuan Walker 1, Freddie Peralta 1, Mark Melancon a third, Alex Reyes 2/3, Craig Kimbrell 2/3, and Zach Wheeler 1/3. So a very oddly managed game by both Dave Roberts and Kevin Cash here as they're mixing up starters and relievers. Normally the starters went first and then the relievers went last, but that's was not what was in the works. All right, NBA Finals Game 4 tonight between the Suns and the Bucks from Milwaukee. My projection is Suns by 1, total 226. And FanDuel has Milwaukee 4.5, total 220.5. I'm going to keep doing the trend I've been doing the entire series overs. I know it was 220 on the number last game in terms of combined points. So I'm going to go over 220.5, minus 110 for my pick. For the finals and who wins, I'm going to say that Milwaukee wins again. They even up the series at 2 apiece. I think Giannis will be the best player on the court. I think that this game could potentially go to overtime. Devin Booker really hasn't been the same since he broke his nose, so that's something to keep an eye on here. Chris Paul's been magnificent. DeAndre Ayton has been the secret weapon MVP in terms of the guy that's important for the Suns that isn't getting that much attention because they really don't have a backup for DeAndre Ayton. So the backup center position is something that the Suns need to look forward to address come the offseason, but we're still in the midst of the finals, so I want to bring that to the attention of the podcast very quickly. All right, now I'm going to talk about the WNBA All-Star Game, which is tonight. If I'm not mistaken, it's East versus West. I'm going to pull up the rosters on my device here very quickly. It's actually Team WNBA and U.S. Women. So Team WNBA is DeWanna Bonner, Liz Cambage, Kalia Cooper, Darika Hambry, Brianna Jones, Jaquel Jones, Benija Laney, Enrique Agambali, Candace Parker, Satu Sabali, Courtney Vandersloot, and Courtney Williams. And on the opposite side, USA Women, Ariel Atkins, Sue Bird, Tina Charles, Nafasa Collier, Skylar Diggins-Smith, Sylvia Foles, Chelsea Gray, Brittany Griner, Jewel Lloyd, Brianna Stewart, Diana Taurasi, and Aja Wilson. I think USA Women is better. U.S. Women is better. You have a lot of the Seattle Storm people like Sue Bird and Brianna Stewart and Jewel Lloyd. You have the duo of the Sun. I'm sorry, not the Sun. I have Phoenix Suns in my head. And by the way, it's 8 straight for the American League in the All-Star game in terms of a number. So just wanted to throw that out. But yeah, I'm thinking Phoenix Suns in my head, but it's the Phoenix Storm. Griner and Taurasi. Diggins-Smith's a good player. Tina Charles has had a fabulous year. So I'm going to go USA Women over Team WNBA, like 1-0. Let's go like 107-98 or something like that. I think it's almost a double-digit win for USA Women. I think the USA Women roster is so much better than Team WNBA. And I think the MVP will be Brianna Stewart, who I think is a player on a mission coming off the injury. And I think that she's going to take home the All-Star game MVP in this game. All right, now I'm going to talk some golf. I will make a pick for the next tournament, which begins tomorrow, and it is the Barbasol Championship. I'm on FanDuel looking at odds. They're showing odds for the Open, but here's Barbasol. All right, Seamus Power is a 14-1 favorite. Charles Schwartzel 16-1. Luke List is 22-1. 26-1 is Patrick Rogers. 29-1 Russell Knox, Richie Wierenski, Lee Hughes. 31-1 Taylor Pendrith. 33-1 the big group: Nick Taylor, Mito Pereira, Tom Lewis, Stefan Jaeger, Adam Schenk. 37-1 JT Potson, Henrik Norlander, Mark Hubbard, and Grayson Sigg. 41-1 Jim Herman, Bryce Garnett, Brian Stewart, Bu Hostler, Davis Thompson, Davis Riley. 50-1 Cam Percy, Ryan O'Moore, Chasen Headley. 60-1 Wilco Nyabader, Vaughn Taylor, Bo Hogg, Scott Brown, Kevin Tway, Sahith Thigla, Denny McCarthy. 65-1 Satoshi Kodiara, Roger Sloan, Will Gordon, Jason Duffner, Vincent Whaley, Chase Seifert, Sam Ryder. Camilo Vegas is 70-1. At 80-1, Joseph Brumlett, Ben Martin, Wes Roach, John Huh, James Hahn, Hudson Swafford. 90-1, Bronson Burgoon, Mark Anderson, Sean O'Hare, Josh Teeter, J.J. Spawn. Other notables: Tyler Duncan's 120, Robbie Shelton's 120, DJ Trans 150, Vauban Peltz 150. KJ Choice 320-1. But in terms of a pick, I'm going to go with somebody that I don't think is looking ahead a little bit to the U.S. Open. Or as they call it, the Open. He's a promising golfer. Give me Patrick Rogers, 26-1, to win the 2021 Barbasol Championship. 26-1 would be my choice there. Okay, now I'm going to do the same segment I did yesterday with the MLB managers and just translate it to NBA head coaches. I'm going to predict who every team's head coach in the NBA will be 3 years from now. I did this with the NFL about 3 weeks ago. And yesterday I did it with baseball. Now I'm going to do it with the NBA. Tomorrow I'm going to do it with the NHL. And then maybe next week, one day I'll do it for the Power 5 of college football and the Super 6 of college basketball. Maybe I'll do some exceptions like the AAC and the Mountain West for each college football and college basketball as well. So without further ado, I'm going to do a predicting to the future and predict who will be every NBA team's head coach 3 years from now. The Atlanta Hawks, Mike D'Antoni, currently an assistant on Steve Nash's staff in Brooklyn. I think the conference finals appearance will get that franchise thinking that they're close to a championship. But there's still better teams in the Eastern Conference, like the Brooklyn Nets, the Philadelphia 76ers, Milwaukee Bucks. And I think there's some other teams that could leapfrog the Hawks. John Collins might leave in free agency, so I'm not convinced that Nate McMillan's going to be their coach 3 years from now. Let's say it's Mike D'Antoni, who deserves to be a head coach in this league. The Boston Celtics, Roy Rogers, Portland Trailblazers assistant. Right now, they have a new coach, but I'm not convinced that Ime Udoka will last with the Celtics. He obviously was a member of Steve Nash's staff in Brooklyn, and Roy Rogers is somebody that was a former Celtic, highly regarded assistant. Now he's on Chauncey Billups' new staff in Portland, was with Ty Lue with the Clippers. I would like to see Roy Rogers get a chance. The Brooklyn Nets, Maurice Cheeks, current Bulls assistant. If this team falls short, I could see Steve Nash being the fall guy here. Or I could just see a world where he leaves. That's not inconceivable. Him leaving for another team. One or the other happens. I like Steve Nash. I think he made some mistakes in the Bucks series. Even though they didn't have James Harden for a lot of it. And they didn't have Kyrie Irving. And Mo Cheeks was a coach with the Pistons. Only lasted 1 year, but he was an assistant for Scott Brooks in Oklahoma City, and that's where the tie with Durant comes in. So I could see Mo Cheeks being the Brooklyn coach 3 years from now. This is a fun one. The Charlotte Hornets. Raymond Felton, former NBA point guard. He played college at North Carolina. He was on the Bobcats for a couple of years. So I think that might get that city and that state excited. The Chicago Bulls. Steve Kerr. I think that eventually time will run its course with Kerr and the Warriors, whether Kerr leaves and resigns or they part ways or he gets fired if they underachieve. And the Bulls, the case is that Billy Donovan doesn't last or he goes back to college. And Kerr was a former Bulls player. And the Bulls will look at that as a sexy name as they want to try to potentially become a contender down the road. Similar to what they did with Donovan, ironically enough. But that organization, I could see potentially making a change if Donovan wants out or if they just fire him. The Cleveland Cavaliers. Lindsey Gottlieb. We have a female head coach here. She's currently an assistant under J.B. Bickerstaff, but I don't think Bickerstaff will last, and I think that the Cavaliers are a team that wants to try to make a statement by hiring a female. And Dan Gilbert has a bad reputation as an owner. Although it got better after they got LeBron back and won the title. But I think this will make Dan Gilbert look good if they have a female coach here. And I can see the Cavaliers going in that direction eventually. The Dallas Mavericks, Jason Kidd, I think he sticks around. I think that team's going to be a contender with Luka Doncic on it. Whether Kristaps Porzingis is on this team or not, I don't think will matter. Luka Doncic is arguably one of the best 5 players in the league right now. And I think that Kidd in Dallas would work because obviously Kidd played for the Mavs. Although there's going to be pressure there, don't get me wrong. Denver, Ron Adams, Golden State assistant. I think they're another falling short in the postseason away from getting rid of the coach. We saw it with Portland with Terry Stotts. I think we'll see it here with Denver. And Ron Adams is a really good assistant for Steve Kerr. So I could see him getting an opportunity here. Detroit Pistons. I don't know why I had the Lions in my head. I apologize. Ben Wallace, former Piston and current Pistons G League president. I could see this. Ben Wallace, I could see Detroit making that kind of a hire to replace Dwayne Casey down the road to get the fan base excited. Golden State, Steve Nash. So I have Steve Nash going from Brooklyn to Golden State and Kerr going from Golden State to Chicago. The scenario is Golden State underachieves, Steve Kerr's the fall guy, or they just part ways. He goes to the Bulls, and then Steve Nash leaves the Nets for the Warriors. And Steve Nash doesn't really get fired. I think maybe Steve Nash wants to coach Curry rather than Durant, maybe. Maybe that's the case. Because him and Curry are close as well. The Houston Rockets, Steve Clifford. I don't think that Steven Silas will last. The Rockets are a team that I think might jump the gun. It's a dysfunctional organization at the moment, so I could see them hiring one of their former assistants in Steve Clifford, as Steve Clifford be on his 3rd job. The Pacers, Indiana Pacers, Rick Carlisle. So I'm going to say Rick Carlisle stays with the Pacers, as he will have some success with that team. The Los Angeles Clippers, Kenny Atkinson, current Clippers assistant. So I'm going to say that the Clippers, something happens with Ty Lue, and they just promote Kenny Atkinson. I don't know how this roster will look 3 years from now. But let's say one of Kawhi or Paul George is gone and this team could be rebuilding. So that's the argument for Kenny Atkinson. Los Angeles Lakers, Tyronn Lue, the guy that they wanted to hire all along. Maybe they underachieve again and Vogel's the fall guy. And LeBron gets his boy in Tyronn Lue. The Memphis Grizzlies. Here's a good one, guys. Quinn Snyder. This is similar to the Portland scenario I laid out, what I could potentially see in Denver. The Jazz underachieve in the postseason. And Quinn Snyder's the fall guy. And he's on the market, and he's hired by the Memphis Grizzlies. Here's a fun one. The Miami Heat. Alonzo Mourning, the current vice president of player development with the Heat. If we could see Rick Carlisle and the Mavericks part ways, then I won't be dumbfounded if Eric Spoelstra and the Heat part ways within the next 3 years. And I could just see them hiring from within the family, and Alonzo Mourning is family to the Miami Heat organization. And I think this would be like a fun hiring for that franchise. The Milwaukee Bucks. Eric Spoelstra. So Eric Spoelstra goes to the Bucks. I'm going to say Budenholzer survives this year because they're in the finals. But next year, with Brooklyn back, Philly back, I could see them falling short. Budenholzer goes. And they bring in Eric Spoelstra. So maybe Miami underachieves next year or the following year even. It's going to be either next year or the following year. I could see this kind of scenario playing out. The Minnesota Timberwolves. Kenny Payne, Knicks assistant. The case for this is that they fire their current coach within the next couple of years, and they hire Kenny Payne to save face for Karl Anthony Towns because that was his assistant at Kentucky to keep him in Minnesota. New Orleans Pelicans. Nick Nurse. I think Nick Nurse is the best candidate to be the Doc Rivers of this decade, where the coach leaves for another team in like a kind of a trade, similar to what the Clippers and the Celtics did with Doc Rivers. Nick Nurse is a great coach. That team just underachieved a year ago for a variety of reasons. And if they continue to underachieve, I could see, not Toronto firing him, but I could see Nick Nurse being like, hey, I want a different opportunity. So I don't know if Willie Green will last in New Orleans, and I could see Nick Nurse finding coaching Zion Williamson intriguing, assuming that Zion is still a Pelican. The New York Knicks, Tom Thibodeau. I think Thibodeau's still at the Knicks. I think that there's a chance they're a contender 3 years from now, whether it's with Julius Randle and R.J. Barrett on the roster or not. I think they'll have a star within the next 3 years. Tom Thibodeau's coached contenders before in Chicago. So I think he's more than capable of coaching a contender in New York if he could coach a contender in Chicago. The problem with him in Chicago was that he didn't get along with Gar Forman and John Paxson and Jerry Reinsdorf, for that matter. So that was his issue with the Bulls, and that's what did him in. The Oklahoma City Thunder, Mike Brown, Golden State assistant. Mike Brown, I think, deserves another chance. I think he was screwed over his last couple times with LeBron James, obviously leaving the Cavaliers, although they fired him before he left. And then he was under a lot of pressure to coach that Lakers team that had Kobe, Dwight Howard, Steve Nash, and all those players on it. And, Pau Gasol is who I was missing. And then they fired him, and they hired Mike D'Antoni. So, Mike Brown's had some bad luck. I think he deserves another shot. Orlando Magic, Dell Demps, Jazz assistant. Dell Demps was a former Magic player. I don't know if Jamal Mosley will last. This is a rebuilding team. Maybe they're losing a lot, and the Magic are another dysfunctional organization, so I could see them going with another ex-player in Demps. Philadelphia 76ers, Doc Rivers. This is just banking on them probably trading Ben Simmons for a player that's better, like a Damian Lillard type, and the Sixers winning a championship and Doc Rivers getting another ring. So I think Doc Rivers will stick around in Philadelphia and help continue to coach the Sixers. The Phoenix Suns, Monty Williams. I think they're going to hang on to win the finals. And Monty's a good coach, and I think that Monty was screwed over in his first coaching gig in New Orleans. Chris Paul drama, and him wanting out. The team not really having an owner, and then the former front office having false hope. So I thought that Monty Williams was screwed over in New Orleans, and then he gets this opportunity in Phoenix, and he's running away with it and really making a name for himself among one of the better coaches in the NBA. The Portland Trailblazers, Chauncey Billups. I think he's still there. I think they're going to be rebuilding, and Billups is a big name, so I think he stays with the Blazers. Here's my favorite one, the San Antonio Spurs, Becky Hammon. This is one that I've been calling for a couple years now, since she joined Greg Popovich's staff. I know that she was an intern coach for a game. I think that she's somebody that would be a great NBA coach. She was the runner-up to the Chauncey Billups for the Portland job. But I think she's meant to be the replacement for Greg Popovich. I think she would be fabulous. She coached the Spurs Summer League. And I think that she'll be coaching the Spurs 3 years from now. The Sacramento Kings, Mike Budenholzer. I think Luke Walton will go, and Budenholzer will get another gig in Sacramento because Sacramento tends to hire the good coach that gets fired. Like Luke Walton, for example. I don't think Luke Walton was that good of a coach, but I think Golden State made him look good, quite frankly. And then he just wasn't good with the Lakers, and then came in Frank Vogel. We know what happened after. So I could see them hiring Budenholzer. He'd be an upgrade over Walton, in my opinion. The Toronto Raptors, Adrian Griffin. Griffin's been talked about as a potential head coach in the past. And I could see Toronto parting ways with Nick Nurse and Griffin getting a shot. The Utah Jazz, Alex Jensen, Jazz assistant. I could see Quinn Snyder moving on, and Jensen's one of his assistants, and he knows the team, so I could see the Jazz hiring from within. And then the Wizards. They have yet to hire a coach, but I think that the person that will get this job will be the same guy that I think will be the coach 3 years from now, and that's Wes Unseld Jr. He was an assistant for Mike Malone in Denver. He interviewed for the Wizards job, if I'm not mistaken. And obviously there's the Unseld ties, which would make this hire important to the fan base. So I'm going to say Wes Unseld Jr. will be the next head coach of the Wizards, and he'll be still coaching them 3 years from now. All right, now I'm going to do my latest NHL mock draft. This is only my second one. I'm going to do one on Friday, and then I'm going to do them throughout the week next week, as the draft will be happening a week from Friday. So, without further ado, here is my second NHL mock draft. Number 1, the Buffalo Sabres. Owen Power, defenseman, Michigan, NCAA. Power is the consensus choice among experts and people around the league to go first overall. The Sabres here, with the first overall pick for the second time in 4 years, get another top pair of defensemen to go with Rasmus Dahlin for the future. 2, Seattle Kraken. Matthew Beniers, center, Michigan, NCAA. The second overall pick here I have being yet another Michigan Wolverine product, this time the center in Beniers. He stood out in his first college season being a point-per-game player, and he is someone that is a good skater. 3, the Anaheim Ducks. Dylan Guenther, right wing, Edmonton, WHL. The Ducks need some youth injected into their organization, so they have a lot of choices here. Guenther was a points machine in the WHL and has the ability to shoot from anywhere, and that's what makes him dynamic. For the New Jersey Devils, Luke Hughes, defenseman, USA Under-18, USHL. The Devils here have some nice choices, and here I have them taking Hughes, the brother of current Devils center Jack. The younger Hughes is a dynamic, borderline elite skating defenseman who has a tremendous offensive upside, like his brother Quinn. 5, the Columbus Blue Jackets. William Eklund, center, Djurgården, Sweden. The Blue Jackets have needs in a lot of places, and Eklund here makes sense. He is somebody that has top offensive skills, has shown some physicality, and does some of the little things that teams like. 6, the Detroit Red Wings. Jesper Wallstack, goaltender, Luleå, Sweden. The Red Wings are in dire need of a goalie of the future, and Wallstead has potential to be one. He has the calmness and control to be a successful goalie in the league, and he tracks pucks very well. Number 7, the San Jose Sharks. Mason McTavish, center, Peterborough, OHL. This may consider to be somewhat of a major reach for the Sharks, but they need some youth in terms of young forwards. McTavish has the feistiness that teams like and has shown strength in the battles along the boards. Number 8, the Los Angeles Kings. Brant Clark, defenseman, Barrie, OHL. The Kings snagging Clark here at this pick is a steal for them, as they are a team that needs young defensemen. He is somebody that's a great two-way player who is very careful with the way he plays. 9, the Vancouver Canucks. Kent Johnson, center, Michigan, NCAA. The third Michigan player goes off the board here with Johnson, who would be a nice fit with the Canucks. He is a solid playmaker and has shown versatility as well as his puck-carrying ability. 10, the Ottawa Senators. Simone Edvinsson, defenseman for Londa, SHL. The Sens get themselves a nice player here with Edvinsson, who could use some young defensemen. He has the mobility and ability to create the chances for himself and teammates. 11, the Chicago Blackhawks. Cole Sillinger, center, Sioux Falls, USHL. The Blackhawks add to their young collection of forwards with Sillinger. He has a strong offensive presence and has strong playmaking abilities. 12, the Calgary Flames. Chaz Lucius, center, U.S. National Development Team Program, or U.S. National Team Development Program, USHL. The Flames are one of the interesting things coming up in the draft as they are in trade rumors galore. Here they pick a player whose stock is rising in Lucius, who has the ability to get to the high danger areas of the ice, and it's impressive and has his shot in high end. 13, the Philadelphia Flyers. Sebastian Cossa, goaltender, OHL, Edmonton. This would be a very interesting pick for Philadelphia, and it really would tell you how they feel about Carter Hart. He has excellent size and athleticism to be a starting goalie in the league. 14, the Dallas Stars. Fabian Lysell, left wing, Luleå, Sweden. The Stars can go anywhere with this selection. Here I have them selecting the talented forward in Lysell. He has shown good craft in his game and has great speed and skill as well. 15, the New York Rangers. Matthew Coronado, right wing, Chicago, USHL. The Rangers here go with Coronado to add to their young forward collection. Coronado is somebody that is a dominant offensive force with the puck, has a physical approach, and is a strong skater. 16, the St. Louis Blues. Sasha Pastujov, left wing, USNTDP, USHL. The Blues are an interesting team to watch here as the draft comes. Pastujov is one of the most patient players in the class with an ability to show up clutch in games. 17, the Winnipeg Jets. Corson Kuhlman's defenseman, Brooks, AJHL. The Jets are a team that should be targeting defense here in the draft. Kuhlman's is somebody that is an outstanding skater who can lead rushes into the offensive zones in transition and also has a good mobility. 18, the Nashville Predators. Brennan Othman, left wing, Flint, OHL. The Predators are a team that could use some young blood, and here I have them picking Othman. He is a two-way player that has a lot of physicality in his game, and that is what the young Predators can use. Or this Predators team, they're not a young team. 19, Edmonton Oilers. Zachary Bolduc, center, Rimouski, QMJHL. The Oilers yet add another young forward to their collection here with Bolduc. He has the speed and hockey smarts that would have teams excited. 20, the Boston Bruins. Otto Roddy, center, Karpat Liga. Roddy was somebody that a while ago sought out to be in play for the number 1 overall pick, but his stock plummeted due to underperforming this past season. Roddy has promising offensive abilities and is a good skater. 21, the Minnesota Wild. Isaac Rosen, left wing, right wing, Sands, SHL. The Wild have a lot of promising young forwards, and here they get another one in Rosen. He lacks the size, but is an offensive force. 22, the Detroit Red Wings from the Washington Capitals. Carson Lambos, defenseman, Winnipeg, WHL. The Red Wings have options here with their second first rounder, and I have them selecting Lambos. He is a two-way defenseman that has good patience in the defensive zone and in transition. 23, the Florida Panthers. Logan Stankoven, center, right wing, Kamloops, WHL. This would be a nice pick for the Panthers, who can use some versatile young players. Stankoven plays hard every shift and makes up for his size with great skating ability and an excellent shot. 24, the Columbus Blue Jackets from the Toronto Maple Leafs. Samu Tumala, right wing, Karpat Liga. With their second first rounder, the Jackets go Tumala. He brings a ton of energy that fans always enjoy and is a fast player. 25, the Minnesota Wild from the Pittsburgh Penguins. Jack Peart, defenseman, Fargo, USHL. The Wild go with defense here with their second first rounder as they go with Peart. He's smart in his own zone, breaking up plays, but is quick to transition to offense. 26, the Carolina Hurricanes. Zachary Lahiruk, center, left wing, Halifax, QMJHL. The Hurricanes have choices here, and this pick I have them taking Lahiruk. He has high-end offensive skill in his finishing ability and has a knack for getting under an opponent's skin. 27, the Colorado Avalanche. Nikita Trebrikov, right wing, St. Petersburg, MHL. The Avalanche can go anywhere realistically with this selection. Trebrikov is an offensive force that has great hands to control the puck and the confidence to take control of every shift. 28, the New Jersey Devils from the New York Islanders. Oscar Olofsson, right wing, HV71 SHL. The Devils go offense here with their second first rounder and go with the talented Olofsson. He is a confident player that has some speed in his game, both in his feet and hands. 29, the Vegas Golden Knights. Francesco Pinelli, center. Jessonus, SLO. The Golden Knights need some high-end center prospects, as it seems like Cody Glass has fallen out of favor. Pinelli is a gifted playmaker with a strong wrist shot, and he isn't afraid to show or isn't afraid to throw his weight around either. 30, the Montreal Canadiens. Scott Morrow, defenseman, Shattuck High School, Minnesota. The Canadiens are coming off a magical run to the Stanley Cup Final, but they need some more youth, especially on defense. Morrow is more of a long-term project with a bit of room to improve, but an interesting skill set built around him: smooth skating, impressive stick handling, and precise puck distribution. 31, the Columbus Blue Jackets from the Tampa Bay Lightning. Xavier Brogalt, center, Shawinigan QMJHL. The Blue Jackets have some choices here, and this mock I have them taking the talented center in Bourgeois. He has an offensive presence that is fearless in his drive to the high-danger areas. So there you have it for my latest NHL mock draft, and now I'm going to do another fun activity. NHL expansion protection. I'm going to go through every team's rosters and pick out the 11 players that I will predict that each team will protect. So this is going to be a fun activity for sure. And I am going to pull up the rosters here. And I'm going to start with I'm going to go by divisions here. The Atlantic Division. So back to the old divisions. And I'm going to start with the Boston Bruins, who I think they will protect. There's some free agents, obviously, on that team. And they do have some free agents of note here. Taylor Hall, Tuukka Rask, David Krejci, Carlos restricted, Case is restricted, Halak's unrestricted, Nick Ritchie's restricted, Mike Riley unrestricted, Kevin Miller unrestricted, Sean Caroli unrestricted. I don't know why it says Zdeno Chara on this list. He's not even a member of the Bruins anymore. So there's some notable free agents. Just because he's going to be a free agent doesn't mean you don't have to protect the rights here. But I just wanted to read off some free agents. All right, so the 11. It's normally 7 forwards, 3 defensemen, and a goalie. I think the goalie they protect is Rask. And Halakal. Well, either way, Rask is going to be a free agent. I think that defenseman, I'm going to say that definitely McAvoy. I think that they will try to protect Matt Grzelcyk. And I'm going to say that Brandon Carlo is certainly one that they're going to protect as well. And in the forwards, Patrice Bergeron, for sure. I guess Taylor Hall. They want to lose him outright to Seattle, but they might lose him anyway. So I really don't know if he's in the plans, but let's say that they do protect him. Definitely Brad Marchand. David Pasternak's a lock for protection. I think that they will protect Case. Andre Case. I don't think Jake DeBrusk will be protected, unfortunately, for his case. They'll definitely protect Charlie Coyle. And I'm going to say that they protect David Krejci. So, again, the forwards, I think that they will Bergeron, Marchand, Pasternak, Krejci, Hall, Case, and Coyle. And defenseman, I'm going to say Carlo. Definitely McAvoy, and I'm going to say Matt Grzelcyk, and then they protect Rask. Buffalo, this is a tough one. I think the goalie that gets protected here will be Linus Ullmark. Defenseman, this is easy. Rasmus Dahlin, Rasmus Ristolainen, and Colin Miller. And then forwards, I think this is easy too. Jack Eichel, Dylan Cousins, Sam Reinhart, but he's going to be a free agent. Victor Olofsson, Kyle Okposo, Tage Thompson, and I'm going to say the other one they protect will be Zemgus Greensons. Detroit Red Wings, the goalie that they will protect, I'm going to say will be Thomas Greiss. Defenseman, this is a hard one. They don't have really that many good defensemen. Philip Hronek, because he's young. Dennis Cholowski, because he's young. And Danny DeKeyser. So that was easier than I thought. And then forwards, Tyler Bertuzzi, Dylan Larkin, Richard Panik, Evgeny Svechnikov, Jacob Vrana, Filip Zadina, and Vladislav Nemestikov. Panthers, the goalie that they'll protect. This is a good one. I gotta be honest. It's gotta be Spencer Knight. I think it's gonna be Spencer Knight that they gotta protect. Defenseman, Aaron Ekblad for sure. And they have a lot of young defensemen too. I'm going to say Brandon Montour. And because he's a veteran, Keith Yandel. And then they're deep at forward too. I'm going to say the forwards that they protect, definitely Alexander Barkov, Sam Bennett, Georgi Denisenko, Patrick Hornquist, Nikita Gusev, E2 was straining. And let's go with Alexander Wenberg. They have some good forwards that they're going to be leaving there for Seattle, potentially. Montreal. Obviously, Carey Price, that is the lock 'em on locks on this roster. Defensemen, they're pretty deep, but they're old too. Jeff Petrie. I'm going to say that Shea Weber for sure. And, who's the one that gets protected? Probably Ben Sherratt. And then among the forwards, Josh Anderson, Joel Armia, Paul Byron, Cole Caulfield. So that's 4 already. Jesperi Kotkaniemi, Brendan Gallagher, and they have some good ones. They have Tatar Toffoli. I don't think Corey Perry will be that one. And they're Terry Lehkonen, too. Oh, my God. I'm going to say that the one that they protect will be Lehkonen because of his age. Ottawa Senators. They'll protect Matt Murray. The 3 defensemen, I'm going to say Eric Brandstrom for sure. Drake Batherson for sure. Or no, that's a wing player. I was thinking of their defense prospect, Anderson. Oops. So Eric Brandstrom. Jacob Bernard Docker. And let's go with Victor Meat. And then forwards, Colin White, Brady Tkachuk, Tim Stetzel, Josh Norris, Batherson, Artem Anisimov, just to keep a veteran around, and Ryan Zingle. Tampa Bay Lightning. The goalie they'll protect, Andrei Vasilevsky. Defensemen, Victor Hedman, Ryan McDonough, and Mikhail Sergachev for sure. And then the offensive players, Steven Stamkos, Nikita Kucherov, Yanni Goudreau, almost definitely oh my God, why am I blanking on his name? Should be right in front of me. Brayden Point. So we got Stamkos, Point, Kucherov, Goudreau. And then if I had to pick a couple more, I'm going to say Anthony Cirelli. So that's 5. Barkley, Goudreau, and Blake Coleman. Oh, wait a minute. Let's replace Coleman with Alex Killorn. That'd be... I can't see them letting Alex Killorn be exposed to Seattle, potentially. So let's flip with Alex Killorn for Blake Coleman. Toronto Maple Leafs. Frederik Andersen's going to be protected. All the defensemen on the roster. Morgan Riley, for sure, will be protected. Jake Muzzin. And Timothy Lidgren. And the forwards, John Tavares, Austin Matthews, for sure. William Nylander, Mitch Marner. I just realized something. Rasmus Sandin could be exposed. So that could be potential yikes for Toronto. So I picked Lidgren over him. This is a tougher one than I thought. for Toronto. I guess Alex Galchenyuk, Zach Hyman, and let's go with Stefan Noesen. Don't feel good about it, though. All right, so the Metropolitan Division. The Hurricanes, I think, if the goalies on the roster, they will protect Alex Nedeljkovic. Defensemen, this is tough. They're deep here. Dougie Hamilton. I'm going to say that they protect him. Brett Pesky and Jacob Slavin, I think, will be the three they protect. Forwards, Teuvo Teravainen, Andrei Svechnikov, Sebastian Aho, Jordan Staal, Martin Nesas, Ryan Suzuki, and let's go with Vincent Trocheck, who was a big acquisition for them in 2020. The Columbus Blue Jackets. The goalie that they'll protect, I'm going to say, will be... I'm going to say it's Elvis. Elvis Merzlikins will be the one that they protect. Defenseman, Zach Werenski for sure. Seth Jones for sure. And let's say the youngster, Gabriel Carlson. And then forwards, Cam Atkinson, Oliver Bjorkstrand, Patrick Laine for sure. Gustav Nyquist. Jack Roslovic. And the other two, let's go with Max Domi and Emil Benstrom. Devils, Mackenzie Blackwood. And then defenseman, it's got to be Will Butcher. Damon Severson and Ty Smith. And then forwards, Jack Hughes, Nico Hischier, Miles Wood, I had to replace one of the defensemen here with PK Subban because I left them off. Or can they let him go unprotected? All right, let's replace Will Butcher with PK Subban here. Apologies. All right, so Hughes, Hischier, Pavel Zacha, Miles Wood, Andreas Johnson, maybe? Jesper Bakquist, and let's go with Mikhail Malstev. Ugh, God, that roster is not good. Islanders, this is a tough one. To me, they have to protect Ilya Sorokin. They got to protect Ilya Sorokin. I'm sorry. As good as Varlamov's been for them, it's got to be Sorokin that they got to protect. Defenseman has to be Pelech, and it's got to be Noah Dobson, to me. And then the forwards, Barzal for sure, Matthew Barzal, Anders Lee, Kyle Palmieri, Juan Gabriel Pageau, Cal Clutterbuck, Josh Bailey, and Casey Cizikas, let's go with. Rangers, the goalie they're protecting, it has to be Igor Shesterkin. He's their future. He's their now. Defensemen, they're pretty deep at defense now, weirdly enough, because they're youth. I'm going to say Keandre Miller, Ryan Gringren, and Adam Fox have to be the three that they protect. And then forwards. Ooh, they're deep here. This is going to be a good team next year. With Gerard Gallant as coach, this is definitely going to be a good team. They have to protect Mika Zibanejad. Alexei Lafreniere, Chris Kreider, Capo Caco, Pavel Buchnevich, so again, Lafreniere, Caco, Buchnevich, Panarin. Oof. So Zibanejad, 1, Panarin, 2, Lafreniere, 3, Kreider, 4, Capo Caco, 5, Buchnevich, 6, and the 7th I'm going to say will be Vitaly Kravtsov. Why not? Flyers. Carter Hart's getting protected. We know that. Defenseman, it's going to be Travis Sanheim, Ivan Provorov, and you know what? I can see them picking another defenseman over Shane Gostisbehere. But will they actually do it is the question. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say that they protect Shane Gostisbehere. And then maybe they trade him afterward. Who knows? And then forwards. Sean Couturier, Joel Farabee, Claude Giroux, James Van Riemsdyk, Jacob Voracek, Kevin Hayes, and Travis Kelce. Pittsburgh Penguins, this roster, I think, could be in for some interesting changes, especially at the goaltender position. I think that they'll have a different goalie next year. They're going to protect Tristan Jarry, though. And then defensemen, I think it will be Brian Dumoulin, Chris Letang, and John Marino. Those got to be the three, you would think. And then the forwards, obviously Sidney Crosby, Jake Gensel, Evgeny Malkin, Brian Rust, Jason Zucker, and let's say they protect Jeff Carter, because he was a good veteran addition to that team. And this is a tough one for the last spot. Maybe Brandon Tanev. Either Brandon Tanev or Jared McCann. I'm going to say Tanev. The Capitals. I think the goalie that they're going to protect, this is a tough one. They have a lot of goalies on the roster. I'm going to say Vitek Vanacek is the one they protect. He was really good for them. He was their best goalie, in my opinion, this past season. And a defenseman, it's got to be John Carlson. I don't think they'll protect Chara. Maybe Brendan Dillon and Dmitry Orlov. Justin Schultz is good too. But I'm going to stick with those three. And then forwards, it's got to be Alex Ovechkin, Nick Backstrom, Evgeny Kuznetsov, Anthony Mantha. You know what? I'm going to say Connor McMichael. I'm going to go ballsy with that call right there because he's a young player that they really, really like. TJ Oshie and Tom Wilson. And then we'll go to the Western Conference. I know, I'm sorry, we're taking a long time here. Pacific Division, Anaheim Ducks. John Gibson for sure. Defenseman will go Cam Fowler, Hampus Lindholm, and because he's a veteran, Kevin Shattenkirk. And then the forwards, David Backes, Ryan Getzlaff, Adam Henrique, Isaac Lundstrom, Sam Steele, Troy Terry, and let's say Max Comtois. Coyotes, the goalie that they'll protect, I'm going to say, will be Darcy Kemper. Defenseman, Oliver Ekman-Larsson for sure. Jacob Chychrun and Alex Goloski. And then the forwards, because he's the alternate captain, Derek Brassard, Christian Jorvik, Clayton Keller, Phil Kessel, Nick Schmaltz, and then two more. Let's go with Lane Peterson and Connor Garland. Flames, the goalie that will be protected will for sure be their prize from last offseason, Jacob Markstrom. Defenseman that will be protected, Mark Giordano for sure, Noah Hannafin, and will it be Juuso Valimaki, Connor Mackey, Oliver Clayton? Let's go with Juuso Valimaki. And then the forwards, they're deep at forward. Elias Lindholm, for sure. Sean Monahan. Matt Tkachuk. Johnny Gaudreau. Mikhail Backlund. Milan Lucic, and let's go with Brett Ritchie. I don't feel good about it. Edmonton's protected goalie, I think, will be Mikko Koskinen. Defenseman, Chris Russell, Darnell Nurse, and Duncan Keith, who they just acquired. Oh, Bouchard needs to be protected too. Evan Bouchard. Let's say they keep Chris Russell free, and then they'll protect Bouchard instead. And then forwards, for sure, Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid. Let's say they protect Zach Kazin, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Kyler Yamamoto, Kyle Turris, and let's go with Tyler Ennis. I don't think they'll protect Jesse Puljujarvi. I think they're sick of him. The Kings, Jonathan Quick for sure. And then defensemen will be Drew Doughty, Tobias Jornfoot, and I guess Ali Mata. And then the forwards, Victor Vreeton, who they just acquired, Dustin Brown, Anze Kopitar, Alex Iafallo, They're not deep at forward. There's 3 more they have to keep. Adrian Kempe, maybe Jared Anderson Dolan, and maybe Brendan Lemieux. Oh, take away Lemieux. We'll go Gabriel Velarde. We forgot about him. San Jose Sharks, they'll protect Martin Jones, Erik Karlsson, Brett Burns, and Marc-Edouard Vlasic. Those are 4 locks right there. And then the forwards, Timo Meier, Patrick Marleau, Kevin LeBlanc, Evander Kane, Thomas Hertl. And then 2 more they got to pick. Maybe Dylan Gramble and Logan Couture. Duh. The Canucks, the goalie I think that they will protect, believe it or not, won't be Braden Holtby. I think it's going to be Thatcher Demko. Defenseman has to be Quinn Hughes, for sure. I think that the other 2 that they will protect will be, let's go with Tyler Myers and Ollie Julevi. And then forwards, for sure, Elias Pettersson. They will protect, I'm going to say Tanner Pearson, JT Miller, Bo Horvat for sure, Brock Besser for sure, and then 2 more forwards. Who will they be? I'm going to say Tyler Mott, and because he's an alternate captain, Brandon Sutter. Vegas, the goalie that they'll protect, I'm going to say, this is the toughest one. I'm going to say Robin Lehner. Like, they didn't acquire him to leave him to go to Seattle. Defenseman, Shea Theodore, Alec Martinez, and let's go with Alex Pietrangelo, who they signed as their big free agent last year. And then forwards, the 7 forwards, William Karlsson, Peyton Curbs, Jonathan Marchessault, Max Pacioretty, Mark Stone, Riley Smith. So that's 5. Chandler Stevenson, and I guess Cody Glass. Central Division, Blackhawks. The goalie will be protected. Oh, my God. Has to be Kevin Lankinen if they got to protect, right? And then the 3 defensemen on that roster that they will protect. Obviously, Duncan Keith's no longer on the team, so can't say him. Adam Boqvist, Nicholas Buden, and I guess Calvin DeHaan. And then forwards, Kane Taves, Kirby Doc. Kane Taves. Kirby Doc, Alex DeBrincat. That's who I was blanking on. So that's 4. Dylan Strome, 5. Alexander Nylander, 6. And Dominic Kubalik, 7. Avalanche, the goalie that they'll protect, I'm going to say, will be the one that really helped them these past couple years, Philip Grubauer. And then defenseman, Kel McCarr for sure. And then there's 2 more of the pick. Let's go with Sam Girard, and Eric Johnson. And then forwards, it's got to be Nathan McKinnon, Gabriel Landeskog. I'm going to say that Brandon Saad's one of the 7. Nazem Kadri, Tyson Yost. Maybe Andre Burakovsky, 6, and Mikko Rantanen. Dallas. The goalie, I think, that'll be protected will be Antoine Khudobin. Defenseman, for sure, I'm going to say John Klingberg, Mikko Riskinen, or Mio Hiskinen. I got the name mixed up. And then the third defenseman that will be protected, I'm going to say, this is a tough one. Maybe Sami Vatanen. And then forwards, Jamie Benn for sure. Blake Comeau, Tyler Seguin, Andrew Colagano, Joe Pavelski, Jason Robertson, and let's go with Rupins. Minnesota Wild, the goalie that they'll protect, I'm going to say, I think might be Kaapo Kähkönen. Go ballsy here. And then defensemen that they'll protect, Jared Spurgeon for sure, he's their captain. Matt Dumba. And Jonas Brodin. That was easy. And then the forwards. This was a hard one to figure out. Marcus Foligno for sure. Kevin Fiala for sure. Joel Eriksson Ek for sure. Marco Rossi for sure. Mats Zuccarello, who was a free agent pickup a couple years ago, and then 2 more. Ryan Hartman, that's 6. And then let's go with Nick Jutstad, that's 7. Predators, for sure, UC Saros. Defenseman Roman Josi. That team is so different down. Dante Fabro has to be one of them. So Fabro, Josi, and Ryan Ellis. And then that leaves Matthias Ekholm hanging. Because I think they got to protect Fabro. And then the forwards. Matt Duchene, Philip Forsberg, Mikael Granlund, Eric Holla, Ryan Johansson, Eli Tolvanen, Luke Kunin, and maybe Rocco Grimaldi. So I'll recount the forwards. So Shane, Forsberg, Granlund, Grimaldi, Holla, Johansson, and then I went with Eli Tolvanen. There you go. Blues. The goalie that will be protected will be Jordan Binghamton for sure. Defenseman. Colton Parayko, Torrey Krug, and Vince Dunn. Although I would have loved Robert Bertuzzo. And then protected forwards. I'm going to say for sure Vladimir Tarasenko, despite the trade rumors. Robert Thomas, because of his age. Jaden Schwartz. Oscar Sundqvist, Braden Shed, Ryan O'Reilly, and David Perron. Winnipeg Jets. And this is the last one. The goalie will be Connor Hellebuck. Defenseman. They gotta protect, in my opinion, Josh Morrissey, which I think they will do. Ville Heinola, and I'm going to say Neil Pionk. And then the forwards, Blake Wheeler for sure, Mark Sheffley for sure, Adam Lowry, Brian Little, Nicolas Ehlers, Pierre-Luc Dubois, and Kyle Connor. So that team's pretty deep. We'll see who they pick and who they don't pick. That was such a long segment that I'm just going to skip news and notes for today and go straight to best bet. I'll save news and notes for tomorrow's show because that was a really big segment that I did. It took over a half an hour, which I certainly was not expecting. Best bet's going to be the over 220.5 between the Suns and the Bucks tonight. I'm going to lay a unit on it. Game 4 of the NBA Finals. Laying a unit over 220.5 between the Suns and the Bucks. All right, so there you have it for the show today. I'll be back tomorrow recapping everything that happened in the NBA Finals, and then we'll look ahead to the lone Major League Baseball game being played tomorrow, and we will also talk about some other stuff. I'll have a prediction of NHL coaches 3 years from now, leaderboard for the golf tournament, news and notes from both today and yesterday, and best bet for sure as well. Hope you guys have a great day, everyone.